Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am so excited to share the word of the Lord on today. Sharia, I am over the top right now. I am so excited. I am overjoyed. I am about to bust at the seams because I'm like, tomorrow is Friday. I made it, Lord, I made it. I am so excited about, hey, Isha, I'm so excited about what the Lord is going to do in that place tomorrow. Y'all, I cannot stop grinning. I've been grinning all day. Y'all, I hope you are in high expectation. I think I'm in so much high expectation because I know, based on what the Lord has spoken to me, based on what the Lord has shown me, what he is going to do in the minds of his people. Your mind is about to be set free. Stuff you wrestled with before, after tomorrow night, it's done. It is okay. It is finished. Oh God. Listen, Prophet Mitchell, I'm about to lose it because I keep thinking about the people's mind and how so many people deal with mind traffic. So many people deal with mind confusion. So many people deal with instability in the mind. And so many people deal with the double-mindedness. And I'm like, oh God, he's about to cancel this stuff tomorrow night. I hope you are inviting people. I hope you are in high expectation. I hope you are ready for what the Lord is going to do. Tomorrow is your night. Tomorrow he's going to finish the work in your mind. I'm so excited about that. Listen, if you have not already, hey, Jose, if you have not already, I need you to go ahead and tag. I need you to go ahead and share. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the nails. I dealt with this on last year, but it keeps, of course, when you're talking about Good Friday, you can't talk about Good Friday and the crucifixion without discussing the nails. I know we do, some people do the last 7 words. I've been on many of those platforms. But it's something about when you break down, like the Lord has been doing with us all week. It's something about when you break down the meaning of what really happened leading up to him going to Calvary. What really happened? And so tonight, we're going to deal with the nails. My God, y'all, I'm so excited about this word right here. We're going to deal with the nails tonight. Listen, I see the baby cup in the background. Y'all, I'm on me duty. So my house is like a wreck. But I'm excited. I'm excited about the Lord. So listen, today we're going to deal with the nails. So now we are on all week. We've been talking about each day of the week leading up to his resurrection. So today is what happened on what we would consider that Friday night. Okay. So this is the daytime hours. Jesus stood trial before Pontius Pilate. We talked about that last night, who handed him over to be crucified. They chose Jesus to be crucified in the place of Barabbas. Oh, God. Go ahead and drop that. And see, some of y'all already in the vein. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. The nails. So they chose Jesus to go in the place of Barabbas, which is symbolic that Jesus stood in our place. He took on the one who knew no sin, took on sin for us. The one who had never been separated from his Father took on the sins of the world. And at that moment, he was separated from his Father. That one. Okay. So now says that he stood before Pilate. Then they handed him over to be crucified. Now we're getting to the point where it says Jesus was nailed to a cross. Last night we talked about the cross. The cross made of wood. The cross is symbolic of him carrying us, wood, humanity. He carried us up Golgotha's hill. He carried us 70 to 90 pounds and had already been beaten. Y'all, I'm getting to, I can't remember because I've been taking so many different notes. I can't remember if I'm getting to the wounds tonight or if I was saving it for tomorrow. I can't remember, but either way, we're going to deal with how they beat him. Because I think we really need to understand what he did for us. Because I think we look over and we live life like, oh, well, you know, whatever, I got time. And we don't even, do you really appreciate the sacrifice that was made? Because that's what he's been dealing with me with. What he gave up for me. My God. So let's get into this. So Luke 24 and 39. So I'm going to deal with a lot of scripture tonight. So just bear with me. Luke 24 and 39 says, when he came back, this is the proof. He said, see my pierced hands and feet. See for yourselves. It is I standing here alive. Touch me and know that my wounds, oh God, have mercy. This is when he came back. Because he told him, I'm going to rise on the third day. So now he's back. He's saying, see my pierced hands and my feet. See it for yourself. It is I standing here. He said, I am alive. Oh, God. I'm not dead. I got up. I'm alive. He said, touch it for yourself. He said, touch me. Ooh, y'all listen to this. He said, touch me and know that my wounds are real. Oh, my God, today. Watch this. It says, then you get to the New Testament, you get to Mark 15 and 24. It describes the event of Jesus being nailed to the cross after being condemned by Pilate. And then Matthew 27, 32 through 44 details the same event, but it includes Jesus being forced to carry his cross and being offered bitter wine, which he refuses. Listen. The passage in Mark 15 and 24 specifically mentions the soldiers dividing Jesus' clothes and casting lots for them. They hung him up there naked, y'all. You want to talk about humiliation? Look at y'all king hanging up there. Look at y'all king hanging there with them other thieves. Look at who y'all worship. Look at him hanging up there naked. Listen, let's get into this. Let's talk about these wounds. Spiritually, the wounds of Christ hold infinite significance to us and are a part of his glory. One thing that theologians debate about, they still debate, and they've always debated about this, was where is the location of the wounds? Because some say they were in the palm of his hand. When you look at movies, that's what they show. Other theologians say that's not possible because that would have ripped his hand. The meat on the hands is not thick enough to hold it. So they say it was the wrist. Some say it was the forearm. But guess what? To us, do it really matter? So this is what I tell you all the time. When you want to ask me questions about, well, what you think about this? Or what you think about that? I don't think nothing. I know that he died and he rose. All that other stuff that y'all want to debate about does not change the fact of the principle I stand on. He bled, he died, he rose. Matter to me. Exactly the exact location of where the nail was. Listen, it says, we do know. It says, even though they debate about the exact location of the wounds, it wasn't on his hand, was it in his wrist, was it in his forearm? That is a big debate. If y'all know that my bachelor's degree is in religion and philosophy. So I eat, breathe this stuff. So that is like the big debate that has been for years. Okay, but don't matter to me. All we know for a fact is that there were 5 wounds. 5, the number of grace. 5, the number of man. There were 5 wounds. The hands, his side, and his feet. Oh, God. Says, although we don't know the exact location, where on his hands or where on his side or what part of his feet, we do know that his wounds, that by his stripes I am healed. He was wounded. Okay, y'all, for our transgressions. Whew. These the wounds that they talking about. That's Isaiah 53 and 5. 1 Peter 2:24 says, the wounds on his body brought about spiritual healing from sin to all who would ever believe it. He was wounded, watch this, that one time. And here we are over 2,000 years ago, being healed because of his wounds. He was hung on a cross, crucified that one time over 2,000 years ago. And still today we're being saved. Y'all, he didn't have to go back and do it again. He said, I'm going to be the ultimate and the final sacrifice. After me, you don't need to sacrifice no animals. After this blood is shed, there'll be no more other blood that can forgive you for sins. But this one, y'all, you hear what? See, when you begin to think about this stuff, it's like, wait, what? They hung him up there. Listen, they hung him up there on that cross. Watch this. As a spectacle, as somebody to be laughed at and talked about and mocked. And watch this. And what the enemy thought for evil turned out for our good, because still today, 2,000 years ago, we're still talking about it. Ooh. What love is this? Oh my God. He left his rightful place in heaven and came down and dwelt among men. No, could you imagine knowing what? Could you imagine knowing who you are all this time and letting people think and say what they want? We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. We could, and I'm gonna tell you what, because this is what I say. Somebody be saying stuff about me, and somebody tell me, doctors, they said you ain't this, you ain't that. The first thing I say, they must don't know who I am. Y'all know we do it. They don't know me. Oh, you don't know me. You don't know who I am. The first thing I say, God bless you, Dr. Sid. The first thing I say is, you don't know who my daddy is. But guess what? Jesus didn't do that. Y'all, humble. He could have told him, y'all know that I really came out of heaven? And I came down here for y'all ungrateful folk. Hanging on the cross, he's still saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. But us, honey, I'm going to block them. I'm going to act like they ain't never exist. When I see them, they don't exist. That's what we do. Watch this. Says, the wounds that he endured, those 5 wounds, his hands, his feet, his side, watch this, are still, look, the blood that he shed, okay, because the blood that he shed on Calvary is still as potent today as it was over 2,000 years ago. That is why we plead the blood. Everything goes back to Calvary. But we walk around like, you know what? Yeah, well, it's Good Friday. I might make it to church. I might not. Well, I got a trip I had already planned. Okay. Have you even fasted this week? Holy Week. Some of us been fasting since we're going into like almost 21 days now. What have you given up to say, you know what, Father, I thank you for sending your son Jesus, who gave up his life. So because he gave up his life, I'm going to give up something. What are we doing? Watch this. Says, those 5 wounds is why we can say, by his stripes, I'm healed. He was wounded for me. This is why we can say this stuff. Watch this. It says, listen to this. Let's talk about the suffering. It says they marched him off Golgotha, off to Golgotha, the hill of the skull, just outside of Jerusalem. We talked about the road, Via Dolorosa, the route that they traveled while he carried a 70 to 90 pound cross after he had already been beaten. Y'all, this is something. It says here that Roman soldiers stripped him of all his clothes, threw him down on a wooden cross, stretched out his hands. Listen to this. Took a spike. Here we go. Took a spike like this. Not that little nail that we have at home that we say it's just a little tiny. I'm just tacking my curtain. No, a spike. So it could go all the way through. Listen, it had to not only go through his hand, it had to go through that wood. Yes. Listen, says they stripped him, stretched him down on a wooden cross, took a spike and hammered it kept beating it, hammered it through his hands, his feet. Watch this. Says, imagine the pain of each blow. Watch this. Imagine the pain of each blow as the hammer came down. When I was researching, it said the hammer came down again and again. Because remember, their whole point in doing this was, it says, whenever the whole point of being crucified was for the worst criminals. Why? Because it was a humiliating death and it was a slow death. They didn't want you to die quick. Watch this. Says, could you imagine the pain of each blow as the hammer came down again and again, driving the nail deeper and deeper? Watch this. Says, oh wow, it says, because it talks about the wrist. It says, why? So this is why some theologians say it had to be the wrist. Listen to this. It had to be the wrist because the weight of the body, once lifted up on the cross, would tear his hands apart. They say, so it had to be the wrist of his hand. Watch this. It says, his palm, it says, only the spot where the two bones of the wrist come together could support the full weight of a man being hung by a spike of a nail. Mike, do y'all hear this? So theologians say they had to do it in here, in between the two bones, because it'll just go right through. Do y'all understand tonight? So it says, watch this. It says, in Jewish culture, the wrists were considered part of the hand. That's why they say it's the hand. They say in Jewish culture, when Jesus was crucified, the wrists are considered part of the hand. Watch this. It says, next the soldiers cross his feet. Now listen, this is why I'm telling y'all, this is your proof that it was not a tiny nail. If you put your feet on top of each other like this, think how thick that is. This nail had to go through both of them and the wood, all the way through. We'll talk about how our Savior suffered for us. It says, watch this. The next the soldiers crossed his feet, placed them on top of each other, and drove a spike through them. It says, can you even imagine that type of pain? Think about how many times they had to hit that nail for it to go through both feet and the wood. Says, the length of the nail, here we go, had to be long enough to penetrate through 2 feet placed on top of each other and the wood beneath the feet. Wasn't no little nail. Watch this. Then it says, this is further more proof that this is not the type of nails we use in our houses today. This is more like a carpenter's nail, what they use when they dealing with cement. Do y'all hear this? It says the soldiers then lifted the cross up and dropped it. Do y'all hear this? They lifted the cross up and dropped it into a previously dug hole. We talked about that yesterday. It was probably at this point, according to Psalm 22 and 14, all of his bones came out of joint. Do y'all hear what he did? They had already nailed his hands or his wrists, whatever we want to call, nailed his feet, and then lifted him up on a cross and dropped it. And the Bible says, theologian says, in Psalms 22 and 14 says, all of his bones came out of joint. Y'all, see, this is the part when I say, when you want to talk about the crucifixion, talk about all of it. What really went down. Then it says, and that's when the slow suffering starts. It didn't even, the slow suffering did not start until they lifted him up on that cross and dropped it, and all his bones came out of joint. Who, Jesus? It says, watch this. There he was for all the world to see, naked, bleeding, and dying. Before the eyes of the very ones he created. Hung him up there, naked, bleeding, dying. Bones that came out of joint. And I'm up here for y'all. Oh, God have mercy. I'm up here for the ones that's going to deny me. I'm up here for the ones who going to have served me. I'm up here for the ones that's going to run a little while and get tired of me. I'm up here. slow suffering. God, watch this. It says, to add insult to his many injuries, the thieves being crucified next to him began to mock him. I'm already up here dying. And y'all still mocking me. And to what I'm saying, you know what? Because when we talked about this yesterday, he hung between one repented, and he said, today you build me in paradise. The other one, I don't care. He hung between them though. He's still in the center, even today. He still ever liveth to make intercession for the ones that's going to repent and for the ones that's going to turn their back on. I'm still, you know what? This right here, it says, listen to this. It says not only was he being mocked by the ones on the cross beside him, it said, but watch this, all the religious leaders and the crowds who had just sung Hosanna, oh God, are now saying, crucify him. Told y'all, you better be careful of them accolades. Oh, that's my girl right there. Oh, he did. Watch that. Hosanna. A couple days later, y'all saying, crucify me. Peter, I'll die for you. Next couple days later, I don't even know him. Huh? Listen, says, hanging on the cross had a serious effect on breathing. Watch this. To breathe on the cross is no small thing. Watch this. Jesus had to push up to exhale and come down on the nails to inhale. Oh, Jesus. And every time he went up to breathe in, he scraped his back on the wood. Y'all gotta see this thing. It'll make you have a different appreciation for what he did. It said every time he lifted up, scraping his back and lifting up on them nails, drop back down, scrape it again. Again and again and again he did that. This is why you hear people say, and I love this saying, whenever you breathe, you're saying his name, Yahweh. Yahweh. Think of it. Whenever you breathe in, Yah. When you ever breathe out, you're saying his name. So when you do that, this is why I say he is the very breath that I breathe. Every time you breathe in, think about him raising up on them nails and scraping his back. Yahweh. Yahweh. Breathe in, breathe out. That's him. So you are never, his name is forever in your mouth, whether you want it to be or not. You breathe in his name, Jesus. He said, every time you breathe, it's my name. That I am the breath that you breathe. Yahweh. Listen, y'all got to understand this thing. Says every time he lifted up, Jesus had to push his body up to exhale and then drop back down on the nails to inhale, scraping his open, bloody back against the rough wood of the cross, and he did it for hours. Listen, he did it for hours. It says the pain would have been excruciating. The slow, labored breathing would have led to, listen to this, the slow, labored breathing would have led to a buildup of carbon dioxide and a decrease in oxygen, which potentially suffocated him. Jesus, have mercy. Do y'all hear this? His Yahweh, breathing in, breathing out, scraping his bloody back, hanging on these nails, but breathing in, literally suffocating himself for us. Do y'all hear this? Suffocating himself for us. Says, watch this. Hanging on the cross caused the chest cavity to be compressed, making it difficult and harder to inhale and exhale. Listen, because I'm not going to be long tonight. Because I got to get ready for tomorrow. Listen, why did he do it? Why? Listen, Hebrews 12:22 gave us an answer. For the joy God, I love you tonight. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross. God, I love you. It says he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. He saw what was ahead. You know what was ahead? Elizabeth. You know what was ahead? Brenda. You know what was ahead? Dr. Watkins. You know what was ahead? He looked and he saw us. I got to do it for them. Yeah. Way. We are the, they are the, do y'all get this tonight? He did it for us. He says, I know the glory, the joy that's set before me. He endured all of this because of the joy set before him, which was twofold. Watch this. Here we go. One, the will of my Father. I got to please my Father. My Father tried to get this done through Adam, and it didn't work. So I told him, send me, I'll go. So I got to please him. In Gethsemane is where he died, not on the cross. Because if Gethsemane had never happened, there would have never been no Calvary, no cross. Watch it. So when he was in Gethsemane, he said, okay. Okay, Father, if you want this cup to pass from me, let's do it now. But not if you don't, not my will, but yours be done. I'm gonna go ahead and go. Which is proof that he understands us. When we going through stuff, we have to make a hard decision. Well, I don't know, God, because you sure you want me to give up? You sure want me to give up my whole life to preach this? I mean, you sure? He understands that struggle. Says Gethsemane is where I died. Because when I made a decision to take on his will, I knew what the end result was going to be. I knew what Calvary was. This is why I said, if this cup could pass from me, let it pass. But if you don't want it to pass, I'll go ahead and do it. Because I already know what's going to happen on that cross. I already know how they're going to beat me. I already know that I'm going to have to taste death. But I also know that death is not going to be able to hold me down. Who is this for tonight? He's screaming, make a decision. Because I already made one on Calvary for you. When I gave up my life for you. Whew. When I was inhaling and exhaling, and my back was ripped open, and these nails in my hands and my feet. He said, I made a decision for you. Can you make one for me? Who am I talking to tonight? He says the joy that was set before him was twofold. One, to please his Father. John 6:38. He knew his sacrifice would be pleasing to the Father, and that brought him great joy. Watch this. Second, us. The joy, twofold, to please my Father and follow them. All them that's going to have served me, all them that's going to turn on me, all them that's going to do whatever they going to do, I'm still going to die for them. Huh? Yeah, I'm going to die for them. Listen to this. We were the joy set before him. If he chose us and loved us before the creation of the world, Ephesians 1:4-5, you can be sure he had you and me in mind, along with all the other believers throughout time. And he thought about me when he hung on cat. So you mean to tell me that when he was hanging on that cross with them nails in his hand and his feet, up there naked for the world to see, that he was thinking about Elizabeth? What I would be doing in 2025? He was thinking about me before my mom and daddy ever met. He was thinking about me every time he lifted up on them nails and he exhaled. He was thinking about me. When he was scraping his back, he was thinking about me. When he was carrying that 70 to 90 pound cross down a route called Via Dolorosa, he was thinking about me. He said, yeah. Yeah. Because guess what, y'all? If he would have never did it, there will be no such thing as salvation. Whew. He says, I'm concerned about everything concerning you. Oh, okay. He says, I am concerned about everything concerning you. Always have been. Before you were ever in your mother's womb, I was concerned about you. That's why I went to Calvary. Okay. He says, watch this. He says, maybe you don't feel loved. He says, whether you feel it. Okay, well, now watch this. He says, whether you feel it or not, You are loved with an everlasting love, and I proved it on that cross. So you bet you don't have a right to say you ain't loved. Calvary proves the fact that you love by the greatest of all time. Oh God, by the greatest of all time. You don't have a right to say, don't nobody care about me. Huh? The greatest of all time cares about you. He said, I take care of the sparrows. I take care of the birds. And you think I won't take care of you? He said, y'all got this thing twisted. He said, y'all got this thing twisted. He said, I am concerned about everything concerning you. He says, I'm so concerned. Okay, let's watch this. Watch this, Roz. He said, I'm so concerned about you. He said, the next person that put their mouth on you, he said, don't say nothing. I don't know who this for. He said, let them talk. He said, don't you open your mouth. He said, don't even defend yourself in this season. He said, watch me. I'm going to show you how much I care about you. Ooh, warning. Let them talk. He said, I'm about to show you how much I care about you. But don't you get involved. He said, let me handle this one. Did y'all ever notice when you read the Bible that Jesus never chased down a rumor? They say you the Son of God. They say you did. He said, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. You have spoken. You have spoken well. I mean, he never said, well, you know what, that's because that you're right, because you know what? I was in heaven, but I decided to come down here for y'all because y'all was acting stupid. None of that. And what is he saying in this season? Sit back and watch me defend you. Sit back and watch me defend you. Let them talk. I am Jehovah Sabaoth. Listen, I'm the Lord of hosts. Y'all better watch it. Says, I'm gonna get out here with this. Says, maybe it seems that no one understands you. Or no one, because I done said it. I'm over here suffering. Don't nobody understand. I done had 9 surgeries. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired. I don't know who this is for. You think nobody understands what you're dealing with mentally. You think nobody understands what you're dealing with physically. He's saying tonight, Calvary. I understand it all. I went through it all. I went through so you can go through. Says, think nobody understand your suffering? Nobody has suffered greater than me. Who do you know that hung on the cross with this in their hands and their feet and pierced in their side and scraping their back? We're going to get into what them wounds look like, because when you read it, when you study, the meat was hanging out. Oh, yeah. It wasn't no just, I got a cut. Let me go get a Band-Aid. It wasn't no let me go get a Band-Aid types cuts. The meat was hanging out. When they beat him, it was called, I give it, when they beat him with what they call a cat o' nine tails. A cat o' nine tails have spikes on the end of it. So when they hit, they are designed to go in and pull the meat out. They weren't just hitting him with no belt. See, because Satan have your mind to downplay stuff. That ain't, I'm going to give it to you just like he showed it to me. And he began to tell me, he says, yeah, y'all, he said, some people can't watch the Passion. I'm one of them. He said, you can't watch the Passion. He said, that ain't even half of what he said, that ain't even. He said, daughter, that ain't even it. He said, that's as close. He says, that is as close as they could get to put it on film. He said, that ain't even halfway. That's not even halfway of the way that I was tortured. He said, understand. He said, but I did it. Watch this. For you. He said, I did it so you wouldn't have to go through a priest anymore. He said, I did it so you wouldn't have to sacrifice animals and go to the priest and ask the priest to give you the right to be forgiven. He said, I am the high priest. I tore the veil. Now you ain't got to go to me. You can come to me straight for yourself. He said, that's why I did it. He says, now, every time you breathe, remember this, I am the very breath that you breathe. Yahweh. Every time you inhale, exhale, Yahweh. Yahweh. Just do it and think about the sound of it. It says Yahweh. It says, I am the very breath that you breathe. I'm going to get off here. I'm not sure if I'm going to go live tomorrow night. Y'all know I got my grandbaby, so I got to get them ready. I got to get ready. But I pray, my God, today, I pray that you are in the place tomorrow night. I told you, he already showed me. I'm going to teach on the thorns that the crown of thorns that they put on his head. I had an authentic one made. It came in the other day, and I couldn't even, you can't really touch it because it's the real thorns. And see, we think it's like the little sticker briar bush. I'm going to bring it so y'all can see it. We're going to talk about why was it placed on his head? What did it mean when they placed that on his head? Why the head? Why was that significant? We're going to deal with it tomorrow night. There will be signs, wonders, and miracles as always. There's going to be a supernatural deliverance in the mind tomorrow night. That's what God has already spoken to me. I'm excited. I pray that you got your white. If you don't have white, please, please, please do not let that stop you from coming. Do not let that stop you from coming. Get whatever you have, put it on, and come on. We start at 7 p.m. sharp. I sent out an order to everybody that's participating, and I told them, hey, at the bottom I put subject to change. Y'all know how this go down. So whatever God say. So I am excited about what the Lord is going to do for all of us on tomorrow night. And it is our last service at, the Oasis. It's our last service at the Oasis. Our next service will be in our own home. Listen, and then I hope you all are joining me next Sunday, not this Sunday, next Sunday for my pastoral installation service. I want you to come out and celebrate with me, especially if I prayed for you, been there for you, pray for your kids, done all that. I want you to celebrate this with me. Listen, I don't do it much, but celebrate this with me. It's a momentous occasion. It's going to be an anointed and powerful ceremony, but I'm excited about what my leaders are doing. Listen, I love you all. I love you. I love you. I love you. If I don't be on here live tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. sharp, y'all. 7 p.m. sharp. Let's pack out the place. If they sick, get them there. Let me know. Let me pray for them. Listen, I'm excited about what the Lord is going to do. Thank you for joining me all week talking about Holy Week. I hope it has been a blessing to you. If you want to sow, I'll have a look at the bottom soon. Like, what is that? If you want to sow, I want you to just tag it, the nails. If you want to sow, the information is on the bottom of the screen. You're sowing into absolute fertile soil. I am excited about what the Lord is doing in your life, and it's Sold Out International. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow night. Get excited. Bring everybody you know. Let's pack the place out. I'm excited about what he's going to do in you and for you. In Jesus' name, I pray that your sleep will be sweet on tonight. I love you all. God bless you.